You won't believe what one woman did when a family in her neighborhood tried to make life a little easier for their 7-year-old son. It started with something most of us would consider basic human kindness: a wheelchair ramp. After all, when your child has mobility challenges, even getting into your own home shouldn't be a daily battle. But apparently, that was too much for this one HOA board member, who took it upon herself to cause a scene no one in that neighborhood will ever forget. In today's wild story from /entitled people, we're diving into the unbelievable meltdown of a self-proclaimed rule enforcer who thought a simple ramp was a personal attack on her and the neighborhood's aesthetic. Yeah, you heard that right. While this family just wanted their child to have some freedom and comfort, she turned it into a full-blown war, complete with threats, insults, and something that eventually led to her getting a visit from the police. What pushed her over the edge? How far did she go to stop a kid from getting inside his own house? And how did it all come crashing down with flashing lights and handcuffs? Stick around, because this one's got layers, and the ending, let's just say, karma didn't miss her this time. So here's where things start to get messy. The family had just moved into the neighborhood a few months ago. Super friendly, kept to themselves mostly, but always smiled and waved. Their 7-year-old son, Liam, uses a wheelchair after a tough medical condition earlier in life. Sweetest kid ever. All they wanted was to install a small, clean-looking ramp so Liam could get in and out of the house safely. Pretty reasonable, right? Not to the HOA, and especially not to her asterisk. Let's call her Karen because, well, she fits the role perfectly. Karen, a longtime board member of the HOA, practically made it her full-time job to patrol the neighborhood. She'd walk around with a clipboard, snapping photos of trash cans left out too long or grass that wasn't regulation height. You know the type. The second she saw construction starting on the ramp, she was at their door fuming. No hello, no neighborly concern, just straight-up hostility. You didn't get this approved by the board, she snapped, already threatening fines. The family explained it was for medical accessibility, even shared documentation. But Karen wasn't having any of it. She said it ruined the look of the street and set a bad precedent. And then she started showing up daily, pacing outside their home like a watchdog, phone in hand, building her case. It didn't stop there. Karen took it up a notch. She started calling emergency HOA meetings, dragging other board members into her personal war. She claimed the ramp was a code violation, even though the family had gone through all the proper channels with the city. But see, Karen wasn't worried about the law. She was obsessed with control. She started passing around printed flyers to neighbors, painting the family as rule breakers who were changing the neighborhood. It was wild. Some neighbors stayed quiet, not wanting to get involved, while a few actually supported the family. But Karen? She doubled down. Behind the scenes, her parents were doing everything by the book. They filed ADA documents, talked with legal advisors, even brought in a contractor who specialized in disability accommodations. They were trying so hard to do it the right way, without drama. But it didn't matter. Every time they made progress, Karen was there, snapping pictures, reporting them to the HOA, and calling in made-up complaints. She even said the ramp would bring down property values. Liam's mom started to feel unsafe. She'd catch Karen staring from her car or lurking behind bushes, like she was just waiting for something to go wrong. One night, things took a darker turn. A nasty letter showed up in their mailbox, no return address. That's when they knew this wasn't just about a ramp anymore. That letter was the final straw. It didn't just criticize the ramp, it got personal. It mocked Liam's condition, threw in some veiled threats, and warned the family to think twice before making permanent changes to someone else's neighborhood. No name, no signature, but everyone knew exactly where it came from. The family took it to the police, hoping it would finally put an end to this whole nightmare. But even with a report filed, Karen kept pushing. Now, she was bold enough to walk right up to their property line and start shouting when the parents came outside. One afternoon, things exploded. The family was having a small get-together, just a few relatives helping finish up some landscaping around the ramp. Music was playing low, kids laughing, harmless. But Karen stormed over like she owned the block. She started yelling in front of everyone, demanding they tear the ramp down immediately or face massive fines. She claimed she had proof the family skipped HOA approval. One afternoon, things exploded. The family was having a small get-together, just a few relatives helping finish up some landscaping around the ramp. Music was playing low, kids laughing, harmless. But Karen stormed over like she owned the block. She started yelling in front of everyone, demanding they tear the ramp down immediately or face massive fines. She claimed she had proof the family skipped HOA approval, even though they had all the paperwork in hand. That's when one of the neighbors, who had been quiet up until now, stepped in. She'd been watching this unfold for weeks and finally had enough. She pulled out her phone, hit record, and calmly asked Karen why she was harassing a family trying to make their home accessible for their disabled son. Karen snapped, and that moment, it went downhill fast. As Karen snapped, the phone kept recording. She lunged forward, yelling at the neighbor to stop filming, her voice echoing through the quiet cul-de-sac. Everyone froze. Lion's mom grabbed her son and stepped back, clearly shaken. Karen was now red-faced, pacing, shouting about how the neighborhood was going downhill and how people like them were ruining everything. It was ugly, and that video, it didn't just stay on one phone for long. But here's where it takes a turn no one expected. Turns out, Karen wasn't just a regular HOA board member, she was the president. And not only that, she had been quietly changing meeting notes and sending out fake violation letters to residents for months. The neighbor who recorded the video, she started digging. Turns out, she had her own history with Karen. Multiple complaints about a garden shed, all dismissed when Karen found out her husband was a contractor for city projects. So she decided to finally speak out. She posted the video to a local community page, along with screenshots of shady emails and forged documents she kept over time. It blew up. People who had stayed silent before finally came forward, each with their own story about Karen's power trips, fake violations, and harassment. The neighborhood wasn't just angry anymore, they were ready to act. But Karen? She still had one last move left. The video spread like wildfire. Within 48 hours, it had been shared hundreds of times across local Facebook groups, Reddit threads, and even caught the attention of a local news outlet. People were shocked, not just by Karen's rant, but by the proof of how long she'd been abusing her power. The HOA was flooded with emails and calls demanding action. A special emergency meeting was scheduled, and for the first time in years, nearly every homeowner showed up. Karen walked in like she owned the room, still convinced she could talk her way out of it. But the neighbor who recorded the video brought receipts, actual printed emails, forged signatures, and side-by-side comparisons of real versus fake HOA notices. As the tension in the room built, one of the board members finally stood up and announced they'd contacted legal counsel. Karen was officially being investigated for misconduct, document tampering, and harassment. And just when everyone thought that was it, the big final moment, police arrived at the meeting. Quietly, they asked Karen to step outside. Turns out, that letter the family got, it was traced back to her home printer. Between that and the threatening behavior caught on video, she was taken in right there, stunned and still trying to argue. But the real twist? Lion's dad used to work in disability rights law, and he wasn't done yet. After Karen's arrest, everything shifted. The HOA board held a full vote, removed her from the presidency, and started reviewing all her past violations. Most were thrown out. The neighborhood, once quiet and divided, began coming together. People who had never spoken before were now chatting of offenses, comparing stories, even helping fix up homes that had been unfairly cited. Lion's family finally got the peace they deserved, and the ramp? It stayed exactly where it was, stronger than ever. Lion's dad, using his background in disability rights, helped the HOA draft new, clear policies to protect accessibility projects moving forward. He even started offering free consultations to other families in the area dealing with similar issues. What started as a nightmare turned into real change. That neighbor who filmed everything, she became somewhat of a local hero, and the video, it served as a reminder that standing up, even when it's uncomfortable, can actually make a difference. This story wasn't just about an entitled HOA president or a wheelchair ramp. It was about boundaries, compassion, and what happens when good people finally push back. So next time someone says, "It's just the rules," maybe ask who made them and who they're really serving.